what what is the role and responsibility of an animation and designer?
I think it's communicating I would say like more like self-expression, not only of yourself, but of your community through
Okay.
art, and communicate it to people and communicate it with responsibility, I would say, because art in any sort of form, it's a way to self-express and to communicate what you want to say to the world and to people. Animation is one way to put it, and especially like I would say a very popular way to put it out there. So I guess it's like wanting to communicate something important to you. Story is important to you that you want to showcase. Like one of the main reasons I wanted to get into this area that I went on to study animation and design was to communicate myself, communicate about my story, the things I've lived, because I've never seen people like me producing stories, storytelling, putting themselves out there. So I was like always seeing white people in the media, stories of white people. And that made me struggle a little bit when I was a kid and when I was a teenager to be like insecure of the importance of my own existence and of the existence of my people, even to feel ashamed of my roots and my people. So I was like,
Mm.
growing up, actually, one of the people that inspired me to encourage me to go pursue art and communication, was the author and director Marjan Satrapi. She's from Iran.
Okay.
She made the movie Persepolis. The first time I read her graphic novel Persepolis and saw who she was, where she was from, that she was a woman of color doing art, making movies, drawing, making design, I was like, oh, someone that's not white and someone that's like a woman of color is out there and she made it and she's telling her story. And I am actually learning a lot from her story. And even though we have like different ethnicities, different nationalities, different lives, I saw a lot of myself in her. And so I was like, I want to make that for young people, young women and young people in general. Like I want to show them the diversity of life and what is out there, and not that you like it's not only white people that can be out there and produce, and like the whole other people be like erased or like not important, that we are all important and we can all be out there.
So we're all humans out here, and the more we can contribute our own stories, the more beautiful life is. With just more,
Exactly.
and more stories
Yeah,
out there.
exactly. Like I got so inspired by someone that's not from completely not from my nationality, like
Yeah.
completely different. She's from Iran, she's Persian. I am Latina. I am like mixed. Would you say mestiza? You know, like a brown
Mm,
Latina, but not like
mm,
brown Asian. And
mm.
yet, still, I saw a lot of myself in her, of her experiences, of how she was as a teenager. And yeah, I think we can inspire people a lot through art, just to live, to exist, to empower ourselves, and to know more about the world out there.
Yeah, and it's like you're able to communicate a lot of emotions and ideas and stories because you're connecting with something that's like innate in every single person, regardless of how they look or where they're from. It's like this like human experience in all of us that you're able to then channel through your own prism and perspective of the world, right?
Yeah, exactly. And like I learned a lot of that, especially when I was in Kenya,
Okay.
because in here in South America we have a lot of Western influences, especially towards
Yeah.
our views from the Eastern world. about like
Okay.
stereotypes of how's Africa, of how are Asian people, how are brown people, Arab people, Indian people, you know, like very limited things of how is the world outside of our own world. And the things we only knew here was like how's our own world and how is the United States. And then
Mm.
when I went there, I started meeting people from different countries, different nationalities, and I started seeing how similar we are, even though I thought we weren't.
Mhm.
Like before, especially with the 9/11 and all of that stuff, there is still a huge fear in the Western world towards Muslim people, towards Islamism. And that got very ingrained when I was a kid
Mm.
because it was all around media. But then I got to know Muslim people, people from Islam, and I was like, there's nothing to fear because it's just another religion. And one of my closest friends from Nairobi ended up being Muslim, and she taught me a lot. She taught me
Yeah.
a lot of her culture, a lot of her religion, and I nowadays I have a huge respect to it. So like I, I think the more exposure people get towards different countries,
Yeah.
the less
Scary the world
prejudice.
becomes.
Yeah, the less scary the world becomes, the less prejudice you will have, and the more acceptance you will have in yourself towards the differences. Sometimes like you will not have the experiences I have because it was like a really privileged experience I had. And like a once in a lifetime thing that I got to go to Nairobi and study in international school. That's like very unique experience, but
Yeah.
like it's a very rare one. But like we can be exposed to different things by media,
Mhm.
by giving opportunities, opening doors towards diversity. And that way we can see media from diversity, see
Yeah.
experiences of other people different from ourselves, and see them not as a stereotype and just as people, that they're just people, and how beautiful the differences are, how beautiful each and different nationality culture is.
Yeah.